beginning of some journalism. Right now.
Episode 14, Trans, Metro, Express, Spideress, Jerusalem Thompson, still waiting for the journalistic dole, heads down to the elevated subway abyssal zone that blessed Fontclair of the city, where the walks of life waits for the train and try to make peril. With enough money for just a coffee, Spider boards the train to pluck today's newspaper like the esoteric episterous brandy flexes on the feeds. Huntress, Thompson Jerusalem, who reads the paper in this the most ridiculous part of the time cone. Spider!
Light cone.
Very bespoke. Now quiet. I'm hunting a most cagey publication. Most people have their devices and their laser tagged dopamine bar / Fortnite mass bareback first person shooter who inspired Carnegie tearjerker distract the capitalistic malfeasance machine Sakea the public square. Spider finds an actual made with paper rag. Understood and all, but wouldn't tell anyone that. Spider. This is more like an artist collective, but their medium is the news, none of the sponsored tropes of multimodal feeds. But it is purely particular content based on the passions of the participants, so it helps fuck all about the sports trades. But it can contain a council hearing that was sparsely attended, that open mic night that exploded, the policy that snuck in under the wire, but only when the reporter has a good nose for it. They pass the time looking at the ads, that is to say the old school ones from before everything went online. It takes Spider a while, but he finds the perfect reg. The New York Herald Times Sun News Post, which has always had this strange mixture of old world sensibility and new world tech. They're a newspaper, but they run the entire range from print to digital. They cover all kinds of stories, from breaking news to long-form features, but they are all...
Hold on. We gotta do this again. Not because of the voice. I like the voice so far. It's got a little, futuristic, you're from Barcelona type of feel. We'll play it again. But we'll also fast forward this one.
Episode 14, Trans, Metro, Express, Spideress, Jerusalem Thompson, still waiting for the journalistic dole, heads down to the elevated subway abyssal zone that blessed Fontclair of the city, where the walks of life waits for the train and try to make peril. With enough money for just a coffee, Spider boards the train to pluck today's newspaper like the esoteric episterous brandy flexes on the feeds. Huntress, Thompson Jerusalem, who reads the paper and it's the most ridiculous part of the time cone.
Light coat. I got shit now.
Spider! Very bespoke. Now quiet. I'm hunting a most cagey publication. Most people have their devices and their laser tagged dopamine bar / Fortnite mass bareback first person shooter who inspired Carnegie tearjerker distract the capitalistic malfeasance machine Sakea the public square. Spider finds an actual made with paper rag. Understood and all, but wouldn't tell anyone that. Spider. This is more like an artist collective, but their medium is the news, none of the sponsored tropes of multimodal feeds. But it is purely particular content based on the passions of the participants, so it helps fuck all about the sports trades. But it can contain that council hearing that was sparsely attended, that open mic night that exploded, The policy that snuck in under the wire, and an interview with some minor figure who may or may not end up mattering. Honduras, Thompson, Jerusalem. It's the fucking new wave. And the new wave will always kill what came before, if it gets its way. But they also always leave behind the dreck and the ephemera. They'll eat the bones and puke the marrow. I'm not sure which you are. Spider. This rag is a product of the people's passions for good information. And you better remember that shit, brother. And this is just the latest of such newspapers. They've been around ever since the dawn of the printing press with the same name. But they go by the People's Tribune in this timeline because capitalism took the name away from them when their publisher died on a cracker. The editor is an anonymous hacker collective who run a decentralized peer-to-peer blockchain that runs their website. So their publication is not limited in how many issues it can print, nor how long they can publish for, since the currency and their infrastructure run on distributed nodes that operate without need. Hunter. And who was the cracker? Spider. Shut the hell up for one goddamn moment. That's just how their tech works. But that also protects it, right? The editors are vulnerable to anything short of getting killed. Hunter, which we know can be fake too. Spider. Shut up. It's the principle of the thing. No one can steal their work, which includes our payment for this article. Hunter. They're a free newspaper, so people can pick this up and read it anywhere at no cost, so everyone is welcome. You want the world to move beyond the feed. We've got to get to them before they go down. You know that, old man? The only difference between the feed and a shitty, tiny paper that isn't worth it because your news is on it. You could actually use this paper to take a leak once you were done reading it. The next stop was the city square, the Capitol Tower. And in the middle stood a 4,000-year-old Roman column that had come down from Rome. A tourist trap of old Roman columns brought from Rome's various ancient glory days, each adorned with some sort of plaque commemorating where exactly these pieces of junk had been removed from and brought here to become tourist traps of other places. It had a nice big fountain, the sound of which provided some ambient white noise to cover for Hunter and Spider. They found an unoccupied park bench and sat down for the meeting. Hunter pulled out his device and began scrolling through his feeds for some more news, looking for some stories to use his words to make his words. It seemed like there was nothing in the news except for what Hunter already knew. It made him very angry, because the only news stories were about how the country had been run amok by people who weren't as competent, intelligent, experienced, or powerful as him. Why was the world always going on around them without him having any influence on what was being said, even while he was sitting right in front of these idiots who couldn't think to give a shit? Why were people in the news just saying whatever nonsense was making the rounds without being checked for any sign of competence? You seek out stories of competence. There were still some minor local and international stories coming from various places around the globe, mostly minor local affairs of the kind that didn't make for much in terms of real reporting, i.e. how they got to be called minor, Hunter thought to himself, with great derision. But those weren't the stories he was in the mood to write about. Instead, he spent an hour going back to the most recent ones and searching for those people who actually mattered. He scrolled past the headlines, skipping past all those bullshit clickbait headlines of what they call News. Nowadays, 15 celebs sharing sex scenes. What are these celebrities really hiding inside their brains? These 10 photos show you how different sex is between straight and bi folks. Which way would you go? Hash 1, has your opinion changed? Is porn bad? 20 reasons why it totally is, 200 reasons why it isn't, and 8000 reasons why no one really knows. You click on the porn story because Hunter needs to catch up. And all that fucking awful clickbait bullshit. When Hunter finally reached the one he wanted, it said, former vice president of us, former governor of Louisiana, Huey Long to speak tonight in Capitol Building, rumored new VP pick announced. The man on the banner was handsome in the politician kind of way, with short blonde hair and green eyes that looked sharp and fierce in contrast. Underneath was the official announcement, which made Hunter snore, but didn't make the rest of it any less real. The president will have an impromptu meeting with. You follow the money and the overlap between lobbyist cash and porn studio concerns. He tried clicking for any follow-ups of his own that might be posted here by now, but no such luck. However, there was still a lot he didn't know about these events, like where. Exactly. Mr. Long and his cohorts were getting the funding from to even mount such an assault. In the end, it's just as bad as before, because if you know one thing, it's that when corporations want to take over, you need them to get the people you hate, the same people who are doing shady shit that would get them up in power. You click on Phil Her, Buster Studios. It said on its home page, with many of those photos featuring girls being gang raped. This is our new site featuring all original content. All stories are true, or as close to true as can be told without anyone ever catching on. This is where people with real power and influence will make things right and do their part to bring the world back into balance. That balance may sometimes involve putting one sex above another and making them pay the price by being slaves for an evening while we re-establish dominance once more in what was supposed to be an open society. You cross-reference with George Soros' descendants. George Sorgos, the former porn actor whose mother died during childbirth, whose father took his name away for not looking like it suited. The kid whose dad worked for a porn studio that only produced black on white films for decades, until eventually going bankrupt the studio. It would seem like some would inherit the studio's wealth once it went bust, unless you know George Soros and all that. Then this is just one more coincidence after another. Because what can explain why George Soros has invested billions into filling every other company in Hollywood with anti-Trump propaganda? And also, did I mention his grandfather ran a small porn studio for a couple years between 1981-87? Maybe I didn't have all this in mind yet at that point, but then again it still does make a good explanation. You spider. That's a rarity for that time. It seemed obvious. Someone has to invest millions of dollars into buying companies with nothing left behind when it's bankrupt. Just like the movie studios now. Someone who understands finance. Too, even though none of the current candidates fit either criteria, it wasn't about understanding. Maybe there is another actor who inherited the studio's wealth and wants revenge for not getting it back. Maybe he wants a little piece of glory again. So if so much shit goes around, it might not mean much that you never heard from your daddy anymore either. You visit the Open Society Foundation. Open Society Foundation claims to be run by George Soros or whoever he might be. The website is full of articles written about various politicians being involved in corrupt activities, from lobbyist funding schemes involving shady financial institutions in Africa a few years ago, or Southeast Asia in this case. While there isn't really an exact copy of Hunter's situation or anything along those lines, it doesn't go far enough. But even if you think about what that company does, how exactly do you prove they made pornography without having some pretty damning evidence against the guy? You find any porn studio intersections with the Wagner Media Group. No company in its right mind would produce that stuff without it being profitable or making money otherwise, right? If one doesn't care whether they get sued by someone with powerful connections, they probably wouldn't go too far, because most people do. What kind of company would make money on that stuff while trying not to get blacklisted from every studio except shithole producers with no other clients than the ones who will let you film a dog fuck without complaining? That shit isn't really legal either. No one needs to worry about any lawsuits for copyright infringement if they already knew it would happen anyways. Hell, no one knows when a lawyer isn't a part of something too dangerous for regular lawyers. But if the government's got its hands tied in this issue, and if all politicians want to shut down anyone talking about them, it looks a lot like there might not be anything stopping these corporations from doing this stuff again anyway. If all politicians are against making pornography illegal in certain places, there shouldn't be any problems about people who produce such things, as opposed to just having them as entertainment going ahead even outside Hollywood itself. There isn't even such a thing. It's just too damn ridiculous how easily this kind of stuff works against you when everyone hates pornography or feels threatened by watching something explicit. So all I really learned here was this one fact. If everyone believes that it makes them feel safer to be told lies, even false accusations are often treated as if it helps society's sanity if you say false information. We're all being told we must accept this narrative as being more important than real news. This is how we end up not being able to criticize reality if you just take a couple steps back from reality and look at how ridiculous everything sounds, because most of it shit was completely invented. And then subway phenomenon do what it do. It moves on. Subway cars stop and start with the speed of the world at your hands, while the lights flash by faster than anything else. Time has moved by so fast that there wasn't really any opportunity to see how everyone else thinks. You just know these kinds of people exist. They ride around together. It makes you want to know better about the world than everyone else, if there was another world behind all of them, with someone like yourself living there too. Who can you find among us when this place already exists? There isn't much difference between people on buses and trains, because there isn't much difference between people everywhere who ride public transportation. It gets even stranger, of course. People ride trains for many different reasons, some of whom don't give a shit who sits next to them, while others feel safer with only two strangers. It isn't easy telling who these are either, because there isn't much visible signifiers either. Some of them could be homeless. Some could have disabilities like paralysis or autism or depression, which might cause difficulty with being social or keeping their cool at times. Not everything is related. You need to look more than usual at where everyone was during that time. And what about when? You go to the cute train, drink car. The bars here are where business people with briefcases make deals, and women who ride for sport have serious problems, mainly two. Where do we go? Which aren't that much fun either. Why don't people think of them other ways? What can someone like you find there or hereabouts when all night long there are millions upon billions upon hundreds of other humans riding them in silence like some secret army just waiting till everyone sees them? What better topic than beer cans could anybody come up with talking about trains or taxis? You order a sashimi espresso. At the next table over, a rich old mother, a mid-twenties daughter with bulging bosoms and long legs that crossed while leaning over, and a handsome old man were quietly discussing business. The other passengers are engrossed by their own matters, and the three never showed that they thought they were acting differently. Hunter slurps down his green tea shandy and watches them. On their plates lay bits of caviar that were stuck together while covered in sage mouths that made each segment wink almost hungrily. Everyone also ate salmon or halibut wrapped around some fried green apple that some folks like those that like strong taste, he notes, while also stuffing down what they should call kimphilies, either an underripe blocks and lax combination which may explain why no one would dare calling it hash noodles, or a type of soupy bread that you place in between a slice or two of smoked salmon covered in cream-colored slices that aren't considered edible at all on their own because all there'd be then would be empty caviar beads. Those thickly placed slices made these bowls into giant hot spots that steamed inside mouths on contact for close comfort, not found in these bitter pots this autumn. Cole's best tasting flavor they hadn't found before now since winter, yes. She might even like coffee, perhaps. They would have enjoyed such an occurrence today. Oh, how simple this whole thing should seem compared what'll matter before this ride in for tonight. You overhear their conversation very nonchalantly. A woman sitting by the wall reading has trouble keeping her smile to herself but nods off into dreams each time one of them breaks silence and speaks in animated tones. If the story went on long enough, you'd be hard-pressed to notice either one didn't have trouble holding herself together without going wild, though what about yourself? A man sits just around them with gray skin on round cheeks who has such an expression that Hunter imagines asking, or might even venture, "Are we drunk? Did someone cut y'all off? Or did they really serve coffee and hot dogs for 2 minutes?" Yes, Hunter keeps watch, so may a stranger know. 2 trains together, but Hunter could only watch. The older lady spoke to the other members with smiles while pretending what happened at brunch would be his fault today that people forgot. You had readied yourself towards every challenge placed before Newsquay party boys, who'd refuse their beer-filled tummy dinners. I'm looking forward, not backwards, though just hoping none would realize his presence sooner than expected so his spirit could survive until morning came closer. After all, what worse happens when not having friends he may count on through thick tough no more. Not knowing what tomorrow might bring down forever, nevermore. Why not sit beside family, make room, and try earn cash, earn trust, sit, rest next year. Every day and work laid back, straight here home. Just gotta move fast, right? Did anybody want to stay still with? Or some other meaning, really? Who must talk right here next year at every level, okay, since yes anyway, so there goes. End train exchange approaching. The doors will open in 30 seconds. Better pack your shit now. 'Cause you don't want to rush across 2 moving fucking trains. Thank you. Bless the Anthony. Fucked yet. Be there. Be safe, a commuter does not dare look past today. Bounded to that bench. Try and figure how and future again. Get close enough, right? Don't be smart today, tomorrow, or was just needed yesterday, tomorrow, 'cause did think last. Then like whole last week, then 6 days ever, just every half hour, 5 minutes, morning, soon, no way, gotta talk about weekend today, morning, still, afternoon, whatever, can't lie, all the line, gotta be done by night, though, please, somebody, I love somebody, so proud, everybody alive, yet maybe someday, when think real words, can I also catch life better today, just hope, don't fuck things up, gonna need friends either way. The doors opened, which was the businessman's cue to head through the exchange. Dr. Manhattan can stare back into people's minds and pour over their hearts of darkness through those walls of flesh and bone, holding worlds around fragile neurons made lifeless. A command should money diamond just look. That's his game. What Hunter needs is merely simple thing while remaining mindless, walking slowly, walking around, seeing Braintree reach high heaven, knowing what came then. Languished around below without wanting grow. Someone make decisions better. Would start. No man will be this Manhattan after Hunter Thompson stop wanting kill himself. Dying every day, never stop dreaming. Loving all kinds of stuff, no matter how it goes, fuck kid stuffers, do that brain trick, brainwash folks down bad thoughts about themselves, since never realized how just nice life should prove. Be happy that people always small pride, so happy being around everyone, just to let them know by speaking really nice thing, cause really know everything. We shouldn't think either, we might work ourselves further. Pork feces into a pomegranate, then eat asphalt while poaching pineapple and whiskey. And blue dial on wheat gluten, then gyrate backwards up some bamboo while scratching ears. Market bliss stuff. Can't take it too seriously. Anyway, try and remember silly words without proper memory left anywhere. What isn't messed up, just guess, got big personality. While sober, unlike yourself in certain years anyways, never got real sober anywhere long or nobody needed. Remember face first, cause most folks like strangers. Why just another sister inside your guts is always found trying to escape death? One don't ask how, he does what they shown in movie. That don't read minds either, it makes people mad. 44 remember what really happened every now and then. Don't involve with 5 worlds plus time. Counts you mad bastard plus total immersion, cult Nazi death madness. Time freezes and then someone disappears into nothingness as much as anyone else will. People travel through it faster, slower and reversed. When really important person went back, time became more precious than oxygen since couldn't sleep, die, wake, drink. He really the dream. Doc Manhattan stands witness, a timeless envoy observing what mortals see without recognizing his presence. He also keeps thinking nobody else does either. Doesn't know what going on these days, like everything changed around those around self, becoming way much more active. People nobody would ever dare accuse getting things done anymore. It's kinda crazy nowadays. This is supposed get him, fix him up, don't do nothing just yet. Even if stop mattering, though nobody knowing cares less anymore, maybe there's hope. Hunter Thompson tries thinking Doc can create worlds, then leave them hanging here all alone until reality itself becomes reality, ends up holding things together too. Can spend forever looking back at people and never noticing new ones coming through, like seeing space/time itself. You introduce self to Dr. Manhattan. By his own design, this time, however many years forward in timeline could matter, so never mattered yet. Fuck right, guess is easy always. Not impossible, problems solve easily and faster today, cause doesn't care, cause too busy enjoying what's available in mind. So much quicker, maybe so fast nobody understand thing going happening around really, like he knows who you are now, knows what must happen next better, anything other kind of possible ever more ever before. Doc could see his whole mind, every memory, good and bad, all shit together or other way around. Nothing else existed. Really, anything else really existed. Though not much, nobody really matters here except people whose parents were smart or rich enough make sure birth were likely things to exist anyways, cause such stuff occurred way before beginning today. So no reason getting too anxious about such feelings, those things so far below surface. Yeah, a cold smile took their face, along the pale skin, eyes wide in silent amusement before fading back to normal if they could ever look normal. You make small talk. Before anything else, however, want to check out how interesting situations could be really sometimes. Even knowing nothing would prove better way move ahead, just might need some understanding or question that needed answered, regardless how minor they are. Hey doctor, it's good talk, but could you watch I see I don't have camera yet so close, eyes hold for moments, please Kate, make out a say quick word bow. Say thanks, you're visiting old future, see past future, then you're gonna help me write much smarter words 1 year later, oodles of hours later, don't read mind, you don't need nothing. Alright, bye now. Hunter ran off as quickly as possible, leaving not half chance other person notice any difference. Maybe something big happens always anyways. But no one remembers exactly how important events taking place don't matter no matter what, since not possible remember. Otherwise explain whole series things must occur first properly prior other. Like important things don't matter like they sound cause everybody forgot already. Yeah, but not that important being wrong because getting forget by next minute same stuff everything keep changing round and forth from first place never sticking again cause somebody remembered forgot idea. Really soon. Got confused. See you tomorrow, right? Also didn't know enough details either, didn't know any differently, so end result seemed right, however things could get worse between point A and B since. You look old enough. You head back to Spider. Get lost. A train rushed by blowing the jacket's hood up, making Hunter Thompson flinch, almost falling down without meaning to. Just stupid shock, stupid. Shit. Hunter thought as he saw Doc had followed him. Though this made sense since old bastard always following around these days, knew old mine too could nowadays just wanted company with you, not bothering others, nothing's ever enough cause simply don't know anymore. Plus there been no signs tell future here yet they're always confusing place, always changing like weather wherever gone when needed most. Finally coming out through terminal, didn't find Spire anywhere, found a bunch more dirty people who didn't bother hiding much cause they weren't important anymore, anybody they wouldn't matter nor care getting beat up, so what difference? Hunter saw Spider. He stood near payphones talking on device while leaning against dirty metal pole, stared out window watching rain fall and hitting sidewalk. Hunter sighed then lowered head, didn't feel one, stopped moving for a little bit, could just keep walking round corner across the street, not like being able to sleep anymore cause nightmare come back again. Could keep going always, still somehow never stay long enough, find somebody. Better know how own body feel either. How much more did it suck for Hunter over there in his world inside his mind? Dr. Manhattan, I figured I'd wait for you to find your voice, your speed. The details get difficult to separate because I know too much. I'm sorry about the voice I gave you. It was all in my perspective. Hunter, how could a person forget so many things in such a short time? Is that what it's like when one doesn't remember their name or face after ages having passed? Time is but one factor to account for, and often forgetful for those of us lesser. Dr. Manhattan. Ah, but how could a woman forget? Or a boy remember? There exists an infinite number of versions. Your mind creates different universes. These might happen to correlate with others, however, that is by far not the case. Hunter, who are you? How much has been determined beyond mere circumstance of this event? Dr. Manhattan. I don't think it'll be clear until after the storm has passed. Whether or not I am Dr. Manhattan, all matters not to the living. All that should concern them is that we have the power to change reality or at least create it. A group of homeless persons fought by an open space in between two buildings which had all been abandoned sometime in past few months, maybe years even, yet still left partly standing upright. No damn it. Seemed to happen anywhere. Either windows weren't broken, neither walls torn up, none nowhere could find evidence people ever live here. Since not only no furniture around, no signs, nobody sleeps outside. If nobody sleeps outside means no one wants to sleep somewhere, which might explains why nobody bother noticing small fires start burning when nobody need lights out anywhere, since not much use night lamps here. Unalert sounds. And yeah, folks, a ruined storm warning is in effect. First time in 23 years. Shit, we have alarms for this. But this is a long time, folks. The system would be shut down well before this time. But we don't know it'd be this time. Who the fuck is the adult in the meteorological division? Diane. The intercom busts out, and the emergency defense parameters begin to attempt protecting citizens. What is that? Dr. Manhattan, the past has been disrupted as well. Things are getting mixed up, as you have started remembering more and more at the same time. For all intents and purposes, there are 776 different perspectives from which you can experience time and space. 776 is not a 1 or even a 10. for that matter, or 1011. That's just nuts. You wanna play? Sure, game on. Everyone looked toward Hunter, so he returned stare straight back. Stop staring at me. His reply seemed only halfway honest, though despite intended volume, people around began shouting louder afterwards, giving Hunter more attention than before. He stopped staring. Everyone continued their pointing, while more joined nearby, yelling ever further, causing more still turn around as well, begin telling Hunter he should quit yelling and pointing fingers. Things really could become serious, less let drop. Spider bursts into the train before the force of fields go on. Have no fear. It is I, your weatherman. Oh my, Mr. Weatherman, what can we do? A woman cries. Spider, don't think of anything you can do. Just sit back and allow time to tell. All train passengers. Holy mackerel, Spider. You really brought the real deal. You really rescued us. Can you come into our homes for the evening and cover the storm for us? Spider, well, let's wait and see how this one goes first, before we try and make plans for anything else. Now look, I'm headed up top again after tucking y'all in, but you just relax and trust me. The train ain't gonna flip over in this. We've seen much worse conditions than these before, and thank goodness too, because now at least I'm old enough to realize the reality of it. I have perspective now too. There is no doubt about danger anymore, right now. He lifts out his arm, and the glass above over the sliding doors magnetizes a small tablet of info, so the train's occupants could view. What's up with this storm? Weatherman asks a teen boy. A gruff gray beard in the rear slouches up and swats the back of the youth's head. Let's watch the weather first. We've got 11 minutes till it hits, folks. Everybody scrunches in as comfortably as possible. They stare and huddle and crowd in, all facing the glowing screen of a moving picture. Spider throws a bag of whiskey bottles towards the humans in the subway car. Dr. Manhattan says ominously, yes. Watch and see as the screen slowly starts becoming a window. You better pray the train has enough traction to avoid flipping, which is unlikely. Spider! Everybody, grab a liquor bottle. Do whatever you'd like to it. Women pass around large paper cups filled with booze. A spider breaks through the thin plastic film of a water jug, and it pours it cold onto the floor and seeps through the soles of their shoes, making their feet feel warm while they hold their cup high and all. Spider, Dr. Manhattan, Hunter, let's climb this car and get on top. Let's have us a picnic up there. Spider, Dr. Manhattan, scale the vibrating walls as it begins a track through the storm, and Hunter follows close behind. An old man grabs all the cups and begins chugging every bit he can get his hands on. One way or another, he intends getting some fun out tonight before, and after all, nobody gonna know anyways. I then could die maybe. So, yeah, just do whatever you please. But power comes back on without incident at the stations because once you change perceptions, everything else becomes much easier with simple access. After a few minutes, one may still remember some information from a computer program which would hold all data files, regardless of their size or frequency updated. This could cause some small problems since everything will go back online within about 3 days, depending. The train jolted but didn't stop. Nobody seems concerned by this and keep to themselves. The tracks and lights glow and dim. Eventually, somebody notices group now standing comfortably above, feet almost touching, looking across from each other without realizing where near too much trouble could happen, still remember old wounds well even now. Not such great time be. Together round most everybody last time. However, more than ever likely not get any worse. If course couldn't still turn into full tragedy cause well wouldn't be so damn bad. Plus what really went around last year today. Though all pretty effed when everyone thinks like crazy ass anyway. Spider, our little band of rebels. What do you want to talk about tonight? Hunter, what things would happen if this storm goes on long enough? Say after a week. And someone give me some detailed expositions on ruined storms. Spider. Huh. Hey, Doc. Didn't you notice? This loon's having a difficult time processing what's happening here. He's trying to ask me. 'Cause he sees me as an authority on a specific topic or ideal topic. For Hunter, it's clear he has quite a strong identity, and he knows exactly who he is no matter what happens. It's totally pure, no impurity whatsoever. His soul seems like a single note. The tone, the frequency, the place on the sound wave, if that makes sense. Dr. Manhattan. And a time before weather dampened the fields at the edge of all major port towns. The ruined storms, 400 miles per hour gusts would cause their molecules to collide with wind with increased and enhanced frequency, especially if you didn't consider a basic idea of temporal disorientation to ever be occurring. So let's say I go back a few days from now. A force field would prevent it from ever happening to me. I am not gone. A mere 48 hours might have passed. For Hunter, or you, days or weeks could go by. So, consider yourself blessed this afternoon to be able to afford that level of unimportance. Hunter, that sucks. Does this mean nothing matters since it's all unimportant? Everything is doomed by nature. If I put effort, we'll achieve nothing more. Dr. Manhattan, what was your past? Who were you? Some rich kid whose daddy died, leaving him wealthy beyond imagination. Perhaps even at a moment like this where it's suddenly striking in a clear manner you're taking so little solace. Perhaps you're a religious man in search of miracles, only to find that a man with the power of a god and a vision like that of a medium has shown nothing. Where have all these miracles gone? Hunter, who are you to say? This whole system is made out of bullshit anyway. For all I know, we might all live in your world. Dr. Manhattan. That's the thing, Hunter. I don't think you're the only one existing in me. Right now, there's a whole contingent of futures. From this moment, I'll spawn in different realities, some that will mirror yours and mine, or others which are completely different. I think that what you're not comprehending, dear Hunter Thompson, is that while one is correct, many may in fact exist. Perhaps that will be a catalyst to make you look closer at your own world and see things more clearly. You must stop assuming that to believe another weighs evil is foolish and even heinous. Hunter, okay, just hang it up. I didn't want to do this no more. Still think anybody up there cares so bad. Spider, it's a parliament of various investments out there. The government isn't uptown, downtown or nothing. Listen, they're real people, really invested in society. I never got called in and asked nothing about that Hurricane Irma. They had a whole dang group think session about whether I should be paid for risking injury. Then they settled on 3 cents per incident. On the news, they said I wouldn't get compensated for them tacking more responsibilities onto my job. They're pretty silly up there. But there is an awareness that makes them happy, deep in the pit of their souls, and therefore they are happy and good people in a society which is moving along, but not nearly fast enough to suit my tastes. In a moment they saw others in the distance standing atop subway cars heading back from City Hall. The train doesn't stop there normally because people don't usually ride from 31st Street into Penn Station. Must have taken an overflow of traffic in hopes of speeding some cars up enough so certain routes didn't have complete breakdown. Spider pokes his head to the car below. You all go down there. The humans with their whiskey bottles say this ain't so bad. And to Spidey's concern as if nobody was affected or feeling joy from tonight's scene, Hunter stares down with keen observance till he sees it's them. The women who took such time and love on himself at Ollie's bar, the people he met on the bus going to the station, the students, the children, and the old woman Hunter helped out on the sidewalk. Dr. Manhattan, I was thinking of something earlier. The storms have blown from the west, but who's to say they didn't hail from the east? Have you considered the hurricane's direction has anything to do with the upcoming date? At that precise moment, a huge wave came and sprayed them in the face. The sea level rose considerably, a water surge. The manhole covers underneath street level began to blow off as water pressure grew and continued rising. And then sirens were shrieking. Dr. Manhattan, I'm just playing. By the way, sir, I don't necessarily mean for all these storms to be omens for anything. They're just weather, or something deeper. The future is open to interpretation. We can bend reality as it suits us, but some things may not be avoided. Do not ask questions, just believe. Trust me. We're trying to save humanity from total self-destruction, and every night is a battle for power. People looked to Hunter and were satisfied. They went back to their whiskey then, but Spider, the genius he was already preparing the liquor for distribution around the wagon. Then it struck Hunter with horror. There are no human adults around here. The ones aboard are middle school students or something. Fuck. How could a boy be expected to take the full burden of making booze for his peers all by self? So many mouths to feed. So much. Some of the older teenagers sat between the benches with their sneakers on and legs crossed. They were getting drunk, but not trying to show it too hard. The feeling was not in itself important, for a good experience was far worth more. The restaurant was abandoned and opened. Spider! Food raid! And the humans attacked the shelves with their appetites. There were jars of peanuts, rusted bananas, bread rolls, and rotted, half-eaten platters sitting in their refrigerators. Spider wades towards the soda cooler and opens it up. Mangoes, strawberries, corn. Spider starts filling up an empty cup he sees with the sugary liquids. The rain comes pummeling down from every direction with vigor, violently. The lightning does not bring comfort at any moment. The sushi wing was pristine. They could see their food to the left faces in the mirror which reflected before them. Spider grabs a napkin and wipes his eye while staring dead serious with rage, then tosses the floor when done taking everything into his mouth at once taste. The teenagers were intoxicated with excitement before it was apparent at first sight. Nobody ever had this tight material for holiday preparation. It must be coming true at very last possible timing. Maybe I will stay at home instead of attend the parade. What about those with different lifestyles? Mother helps her daughter with the tiramisu. A little goes a long way too far. Her child begins crying. People were fighting in front row section too. All that could be heard was screaming, and police sirens. These events didn't end without police intervention this year. That's what they're for, isn't it? To protect and serve. The crowd gathered up against the storm's force, chanting for peace as many were pulled back, or were the ones pushing forward. Hunter didn't know. But any way you turn the situation out here doesn't take long anymore, though. A father was eating scallops by the ice cream scoop, and his kids were struggling to bite each other's fingers instead of wait their turn with spoon. Bodies start to appear from beneath a cloud and falling. Doc Manhattan did his thing catching 'em all. More rain poured down. They just stood there staring down a mile-long avenue and seeing how long gone everybody had become, and how easy this would all be, given if you manage to survive until next stop. Things probably get better. The waves rose above their heads now, flooding car and drowning those riding inside. Spider threw boxes of cereal and milk across the counter. Everybody's hunger seemed to go away with a glass of sloshing, sugary liquid turned ocean. But alas, the lights went dim outside. The neon lights that were usually so calming soon became obnoxious, like waking up from a dream in bed at night into bright daylight as clouds broke. They walked to the edge of subway cars. What else would they do? And gazed. The scene was amazing, everybody said. Wow. God, look at how far we got already. Everyone, the whole riot, got the itis. Fell asleep. Tough times ahead. Nah, son. It's G'd up in them bones. Water swept through walls of buildings alongside roads like being washed out into ocean water. Dry gas smell came from above ground and filled air inside train, where Hunter could see all them bodies lying unconscious/comatose alive, but just sleeping maybe. How long will disaster last? What else remains? Besides, people who don't mind laying down and drown dead. Storm chasers ran off in opposite directions away while talking headlong to camera. Some people kept trying to use cars no matter how crazy things were, just stupid crazy, wanna watch with them and perform miracles kind of people only care about their own problems. Even Spidey being awesome right now too. Water surged downtown, causing building floods, damaging storefronts, submerging offices beneath muck. Soil contaminated, thus disease could develop deadly symptoms. They couldn't be further away from real city, without fear of never escaping before whole event go downhill. Right about now, Hunter wanna smoke a whole pack. He's thinking it'd all be better just go. How now anyways it gonna die, cause not knowing whether self make it till morning either way possible anymore. But everything seems okay now, at least not to go home with family though. The mayor also decided to show public self-support for emergency actions taken by Mayor Hisner. Though they have lots better stuff going round, yet nobody pay attention, just saying Efesrus see Kida police, cause everybody likes saying Efesrus see Kida police. The city council doesn't even care about own people, yet still preach self-rights. Guess what, man? Nobody listens, yeah them? Cause somebody know everything better than they do, yet don't talk much anymore. People mad? Hunter Thompson was drunk, so he climbed from carriage. A huge surge of water washed over him. Dr. Manhattan tried grabbing with an open palm, but not could do much when gravity's against him as usual. It's too complicated these days, or always has been anyway. Hunter began sinking, drowning, almost dead, really sad, yeah. Just then, the storm ended without reason, and sky began clearing, showing old bright colors streaked across low-hanging sun, slowly sinking over horizon behind skyscrapers. It was evening, nighttime. Soon stars shine out too when night finally overtakes sun's rays to let it rest finally. Water, so much of it. Surrounding him was now a bathtub. His clothes and socks clung close around the body, which began sinking deeper into darkness. Deeper through haze, never mind clouds, but below that even. Deeper than anyone could possibly reach or will find. Hunter's gonna hit bottom first, though not able to keep going much further, so it doesn't matter much, nothing matter. Anyway, since world must survive another day, somehow still existing. Doc was watching just beyond surface, sea bottom depths. Hunter Thompson settled upon drifting downward, face down toward the ocean floor, where only death waited hungrily all these years without something human once like maybe. Or maybe not. Who knows, could still live down there somewhere. Might have escaped death altogether, already like shark, clam, or fish. Have plenty air left over alongside him. Hunter! This must be goddamn Atlantis! Saw a boat on horizon, near horizon, sun sitting underneath ship deck out towards endless black abyss that looked like space but had waves touching ocean water high enough past through ocean floor, touching sky out further onward. Sea level rose only moments ago too. Hunter swam over quickly because Doc didn't float too low, might grab him without problem once through surface. However, wasn't sure how long last underwater neath weightlessness, holding buoyancy anymore now, so no time worry anyway, cuz at place needs sleep and drink, lay down, rest time enough, think about future. Might even get changed, drink, sleep sometime soon, hopefully, please. One moment, Doc sat on deck smoking cigarettes while staring off into nowhere, thinking who might notice. Nobody on board noticing anything in particular happen. Then they saw Hunter clinging onto side deck, screaming, "Pull up, pull up." Manhattan saved Hunter by clenching teeth, getting out last drop while wearing rubbernecker, then looking calmly below before floating back up next beside Hunter where they can stare eye to eye, water dripping off face. Spider. Time to write my column. He kicked some folk asleep on a soggy nook. Hold my calls. I hate it here. Or, how am I and a friend mark ourselves safe but still fucked in the empty underground during ruin storm because system failed city? We are fighting. Our apartment flooded for the third time. We just moved in together after our last apartment burned down to make room for luxury condos, and because of a hurricane, they let us out. Here we are, working our way towards life, and all this can get annoying. The days don't seem to end as fast as we would like it to, so we have a whole bunch of little things we need to address. First, can we hire some interns? I know, we knew. But who else do we know that may be interested? We need support. I just got a new job, but I've been sitting here worrying and still haven't slept because we don't have any candles in the house. I'm scared there might be a blackout. Now, you guys may not feel the same way about all this stuff, but you shouldn't say anything to me about it, and you've kept going since forever. All these blackouts and water leaks making me so fucking angry. I can't stand it. They're turning me into someone who can't handle shit like this anymore. How long have you had that tattoo? I hate it here. Nobody's told us when it'll rain again. Will we be okay, or do you think the flooding might continue? I got this paper bag I want to use when the blackout hits to collect water in, and also when lightning strikes. Is that safe? Do we need candles? I've already called an electrician, but what about that light bulb? Now, it's not worth writing a whole column about this stuff, since, well, there's the water on my basement wall. There's the tree blocking traffic because a heavy storm took it down in one gust. And no other way in or out. I gotta go home early. When our ceiling started leaking last week, we thought we would have all day to shop in the city to at least get what was needed before the storm came. We both came to get bags packed up in the morning. So we head to the train to get inspiration, and then that is when you give us a fucking ruined stormer? to add to all that, what the hell happened to me? What the actual fuck is this Mother Nature shit? TC, if any god had a better plan, tell that guy I'm seriously out here getting murdered actually legit. Stop playing around like this. You know what I mean? And then you went too far this time. There had to be a good reason you would take everything away like this for everyone at once. Now it's hard enough getting by with the current system I'm in. Mistress of the Meteorological Division of the United States government. What happened to the weather dampeners? The radio hasn't come out of emergency broadcast mode. I actually got on Twitter this morning thinking the skies had cleared because people are on my video speaking like their days haven't gone to hell at all. People have already forgotten what it was like to live in constant terror, constantly needing your gas mask and other tools. At last, though, we're alive. We'll tell you. If you're looking for ideas for a story, remember that. But don't think twice. Those things aren't important. Let the government worry. Let everything go to hell. Fuck it, man. Let's go for a jog. Till the Spider-Man. New York Daily Bugle. The fire blazed high as thousands of insects flew in circles over an open oil drum, melting wax and flames. The building was not on the verge of collapse, though it felt like it was at the moment. Hunter Thompson could still smell concrete, asphalt being consumed on this day. But they did not cease fires once everyone came from outside, no. These were real problems to various disasters, so instead he kept going until reached door at front entrance. Rats and cockroaches raced around every corner within few meters away from view anything. How do you know if it's really bad? How could these people get away with such misfortune? You were not so rich or so broke at least. No. Fucking hell. There's no escape. You need a way out. We will escape them together now. You and I.
That's it for now.